Well, good morning and good evening. Paul Patzig reporting from the North American continent on relevant news from across the civilized world and beyond. We hope this broadcast finds you well and you can tune into our segment via shortwave radio and through the internet. I'm just kidding, it's not the 1920s, but sometimes it feels that way with all the new emerging technology, so I wanted to pull a transatlantic accent. What's going on, everybody? Paul, as usual, simultaneous sip, kicking off now. Good stuff. Alright, starting out with the news, per usual. So, with almost everything in crypto nowadays being finally wrapped up like a sushi roll, only instead of rice we have drama, I wanted to talk about a very important subject in this industry. It's a blinding force that can stop even a seasoned veteran in his tracks from doing his own research and thinking for himself, and instead causes him to fall prey to the mob mentality as we humans are wont to do. It's the subject of the day, a boogeyman. The big, scary, nasty boogeyman that comes seemingly out of nowhere and frightens you with a bump in the night that you weren't expecting. Oh, gotcha, didn't I, huh? These kind of spooks and scares are something we all watch out for, even if taking precautions against these abstractions are kind of unfounded. But after all, has anyone really seen a boogeyman, or for that matter, any spooky monster, despite all these preparations and hard work that we put in mentally and collectively behind these concepts? I'm here to tell you today that these boogeymen exist in the crypto world as well. Abstract concepts or things that are not really well explained or understood per se, but are made out to be kind of scary and dangerous. This mentality is rooted in two places in human psychology: fear and childishness. Not in a bad way, though. After all, nobody really learns about scary monsters when they turn 21. It's largely a function of human culture as a whole and a child's mind as we grow to assess the world around us and what may or may not be a reasonable threat. It's just part of being human. The most successful of our species maintained a form of healthy paranoia. It makes sense to play it safe from an evolutionary standpoint. That's why when you grab a stick that you think is a snake, you jump. It's better to just jump, because if it turns out it's a snake, you're good. But if it's not a snake, it's better to play it safe. This is why we learn of boogeymen as children. It's a useful cultural tool for teaching our descendants about healthy skepticism and just playing it on the safe side to live another day. Unfortunately, these evolutionary compulsions can be taken advantage of later in life by manipulating this abstract human emotion. To drive this reality home, let's think of the Patriot Act in the United States. This was an act passed in 2001, and it flagrantly violates civil rights, but was passed almost unanimously and publicly unopposed due to the collective fear of Muslim boogeymen directly after 9/11. Despite an infinitesimally small subset of a group carrying out an atrocity of immense proportions, innate human psychology allowed for the creation of a psychological other and the complete ignoring of facts. Let's explore how this concept relates to the current state of crypto and the growing culture that surrounds it by examining the recent Monero ASIC controversy. Application-specific integrated circuits, or ASICs, are basically fancy computer parts that allow for much more efficient crypto mining. This is both good and bad. While these tools are very useful as mining difficulty increases, the specialized hardware has led to more centralized production of these ASIC chips. This perceived centralization has been labeled by some as a monopoly, as they fear companies like Bitmain may end up taking control of the vast majority of this industry. Thus, the ASIC-resistant movement was born, in which new and existing cryptos attempt to manipulate their hashing algorithms to favor GPU miners or just smaller miners in general over their ASIC counterparts, theoretically ensuring some degree of decentralization for the time being. However, this movement has seemingly fallen prey to a short-sighted boogeyman of scary monopoly in a way, without having worked through the incentives involved in the process fully. Let's explore further. Chip manufacturers and miners are both business entities and are competing for profit. While each group wants to maximize their profits, the ASIC-resistant community seems to believe that this competition is akin to state actors, in which one wishes to destroy the other. This couldn't be further from the truth, and market competition is a stark contrast to interstate warfare, which is both immoral and horrendous, whereas market competition is generally mutually beneficial through the growth of the overall economy. Now, I'm sure there are some Monero miners out there that are just grinding their teeth at this statement as they lose profits to ASIC miners, but please save your molars and hear me out on this one. Let's take Bitmain as an example. If Bitmain uses ASIC production and sales as their cash cow, then destroying the network that uses ASICs would be short-sighted and ultimately render the cost of producing these machines useless. The entire venture would just be a net loss. Not to mention, this also completely ignores Moore's law, but we'll touch on that subject on more detail in the future. Similarly, Monero miners profit from using these tools. A sudden appearance in ASICs throws a wrench in existing miners' plans and could result in an unprofitable period or even the outright shutdown of some miners. The fundamental misstep in this is individuals that want to find out who is objectively correct in this conflict. Is Bitmain run by a top hat wearing megalomaniac that wants to crush the very industry that brought his company billions in revenue? Is Monero a Luddite-run project, scared of the future? Great news, neither of these is true. There are economic actors undergoing activity in a market that provides value in exchange for compensation. These actors will do what they can to maximize their compensation. Viewing other individuals' rational economic interests through a moral lens entices the observer to fall prey to a sort of boogeyman mentality. After all, 99.9% of humans desire to do and be good people. So by superimposing morality on an amoral, profit-driven economic calculation, it forces your brain to pick sides. From there, cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias does the rest. Especially with the internet, we're able to socialize with groups who think like us. Look, we all fall prey to this thinking at times, myself included. It's a fundamental part of being a human being. I wouldn't change it for the world. But the important part is you do your own research and just try and steer clear of becoming too emotionally invested in communities that are on moral crusades against economic actors. Again, none of this is financial advice. All of this is just stuff I see in the community that's very relevant and can be connected to news that's happening right now. As usual, I'll link all the articles and relevant information below in the description, and don't forget to hit that little thumbs up button. It apparently really helps the channel quite a bit with the YouTube algorithm, so it is very much appreciated by everyone here. But that wraps it up for the news today. Let's go ahead and get into your rather short Crypto Coffee update, starting out with Monday, April 9th. Lendit FinTech USA 2018 is going on in San Francisco with Neo, Ripple, Tezos, and more. Lisk is launching the Core 1.0 version of their software, and Lisk is also having a meetup in Seattle. Waves is having a meetup in Berlin, and IOST is going full open source today. And of course, Bitcore is having their Monday airdrop per usual. That's it for Monday. April 10th, Tuesday, Power Ledger will be at the Inspiring Leaders Summit in Sydney, Australia. NEM is having a webinar. IOCoin's having an AMA, and Elastos is having a meetup in Tsinghua University over in China. That's it for Tuesday, April 10th, and for your Crypto Coffee update. Of course, links in the description. I got the B-list coins down there as well, because there's just so much going on. Love you dudes. Stay awesome. Let me know if there's anything that you guys would like me to discuss in the next Crypto Coffee update. And check us out on Discord. I want to talk to you guys. You guys get to hear me, so let me converse with you, and we can talk about all this cool stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Talk to you guys next time.